we raise our glass and say to our advertisers and our listeners, may we all continue to grow together. Cheers, everyone.
StarFm. Sounding good all the time.
This is Late Night Politics on StarFM, taking an in-depth look at the Zimbabwean political scene.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Late Night Politics. Your host, George Musumba. Just in, there's a video doing the rounds in which MDCT Vice President Thokozani Kupe is saying that people get into politics to make money. Wow. A lot of debate has been generated by that statement. It will be wonderful to get Ms. Kupe onto Late Night Politics to clarify this discussion, this admission. Tonight, though, we pay homage to all the workers in Zimbabwe. This is Labor Day, Workers' Day, or some may call it May Day. And tonight our debate is around the issues to do with the workers. Are the political parties in touch with this sector? How can the plight of the workers improve? And what policies should be put in place to have a harmonious working environment which will ensure productivity? To help with this discussion, I have in the studio Jacob Mafume, who is a lawyer and also a spokesperson for the Tendai Biti-led People's Democratic Party. Welcome to Late Night Politics, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Also joining us is the chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda, ZYDA, as well as Affirmative Action Group Harare Chapter President, Liberty Bizure. Welcome to StarFm.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Good evening, Zimbabwe.
Gentlemen, what is the mood like with regards to workers' conditions in Zimbabwe? I'll start with you, Jacob.
Yes, the workers have not had it this bad in a long time. The mood of the workers, I will start from the public sector. They are still negotiating to get their bonuses for last year. Sometimes they are offered land. The private sector has been decimated. There are very few workers at all, if any. Industry, if you drive along Southerton, if you drive along the previous industrial areas, you will find that it's a church there is quite as church mouses. There is no machinery, there is no hustle and bustle. Those that have found a bit of work, salaries are not paid on time. Those who have been paid on time, their salaries are simply balances on a computer, but they can only get it $20 at a time. They spend the whole month trying to retrieve those balances that are on a computer on a bank. The whole banking system is now a pyramid scheme where it will tell you you have $200, but you can only get coins at a time. So the workers have a very, very difficult moment. We have had a long periods of holidays. And these holidays have been characterized by long queues. Shops have got things, but no one can buy in the shops.
Liberty, Jacob is describing a gloomy picture here. Do you agree with him?
That's the situation obtaining, but I would posit that the generality of the workers are cognizant of the environment in which they are operating in. It's an environment of an economy that is not operating so well because of different variables. However, today the workers are full of hope, and this hope is informed by the love and the patriotic stance that they have towards the country. And this hope is a hope that they have for government to intervene for their betterment. So in as much as there is that narrative of the gloomy economic environment, our workers are very cognizant of the environment in which they are operating in, that there are different variables that are affecting them, but they've got hope. Hope is a very essential variable that is needed to keep people going and for resuscitation of an economy.
There has been wide debate on what figures we use to come up with the unemployment employment percentage. What is the percentage which we should work with, considering that Zimstat is in its 2014 labor force survey puts the unemployed figure at 11%? while some have said it is as high as 95%. Which figure do we work with, and how does this impact us in terms of planning?
That cannot define its statistics correctly is doomed, because you cannot call a road when clearly it is not a road. You know, like some of these roads that we have, the tarmac roads, we are now using memory to drive in some of the suburbs. It is no longer a road. And for Zimstats to then claim that something that looks like a field of Mbambaira is a road would be a gross injustice. It is almost bordering to criminal abuse of office for them to claim that a person selling airtime, or a person selling bananas, or a person selling matowe, or what do you call these mopani worms on a street is part of a formal employment statistics. That is criminal abuse of office, and somebody must criminalize such behavior from Zimstats. It is very clear that a graduate who has been trained in media, and especially take, for example, TV, if he goes on a bus stop comedy issue on Facebook, to then claim that that person is employed on a television station would be an anomaly. So let's be sober in our statistics and condemn the whatever subjective elements that the directors of Zimstats or the employees of Zimstats are trying to do. And we call a spade a spade. The unemployment rate in Zimbabwe is 90%. People who turned adults in 2005, most of them do not even know a formal job. They don't have an account. They don't have, they are not paying NASA. They are not paying taxes. They are not paying anything to the formal economy to help the economy move. And to then call that person employed is a gross abuse of the term employment. And that is why people are going outside the country. You can call them a small-scale business person if you like. But that is also an abuse of the term business person. Those people are doing what we used to learn in geography, which is called chitemene, which is hunting and gathering. You know, like the communities of old, where you hunt a few worms, you eat them, and you gather them for a few days while they are dry, and eat them immediately after. It's called hunting and gathering, or chitemene cultivation in Zambia.
Liberty, let me bring you there, the statistics. You are also into business. In terms of planning, which figure would you rather work with? And is Zimstats covering up for the high unemployment, so to speak?
No, certainly not. You see, the scenario obtaining here is that Zimstat is informed, or rather it's coming from a background where we as business were pushing for the formalization of the informal sector. So it is demeaning for anyone to suggest that someone in the informal sector is not worth or they are not contributing to our GDP. You would understand that the 2012 report of the Ministry of Finance said that over $2 billion actually exchanged hands in the informal sector. So you cannot demean the informal sector to mean or try to mean that they are not a formal system. Rather, they are not contributing to the economy or to the fiscus. They are certainly contributing. However, the statistical office is informed by our push as business to towards the formalization of the informal sector. So by all intents and purposes, this is a very guided and objective statistical analysis that wishes to formalize the informal sector. So we cannot demean by any standards, that the informal system is not worth, because these people are feeding for their children, these people are paying school fees, these people are paying taxes, contrary to what my fellow here is saying. The Ministry of SMEs has put in place systems where they are recovering tax from the informal sector. So for anyone to say this is not contributing, I think the judgment or the parameter by which they judge is their contribution to the fiscus and to the economy. So they are certainly contributing. Livelihoods are being met, and for one to suggest this is not this is kindergarten or skullduggery, like what my fellow is saying, I think it is serious demeaning and negation from truth, because these are certainly a form of employment that is obtaining right now in Zimbabwe because of our current economic situation.
Jacob, as a political party, the People's Democratic Party and the other opposition parties, do you have a policy in place? Do you have a manifesto? Do you have okay, 2018 is coming, and he's saying that by looking down upon this sector, you are demeaning them. Do you have a policy in place to capture this vote? Because the informal sector is huge as we speak.
Yeah, we are not looking down on them. We want to elevate them. No one, Zimbabweans are strange people.
But elevating them would require you to first appreciate that they are contributing to
some
the
of us, myself, I was educated by informal traders. A lot of my colleagues were educated by informal traders. The reason why my informal mother and my informal father educated me to do a law degree was not to be elevated to sell mopani worms on a street. It was because Zimbabweans, they invest a lot in education more than any other African countries. They deserve a government that rewards those informal people when they educate their children, when they educate their sons and daughters. They cannot be told by a proponent of indigenization and a proponent of big business that you are educating your children so that they can sell airtime on the streets. You are educating your children so that they can be elevated to be doctors of mopani worms. It is demeaning for him to suggest that Zimbabweans, when they spend a lot in educating their children, everyone has got an O-level certificate. Everyone has got an A-level certificate. They are not being educated to become sellers of wire cars or alongside the highways, so that when he passes by with his big car parked outside, a Mercedes, made by some German worker, they also want their children to make his Benz. If he's going to be the only one buying Mercedes Benz in Zimbabwe, at least he must allow their children to make those Mercedes Benz, not imitations of car wires of his Benz as it passes across the street.
Before we move to the next point,
if what Jacob is saying is truly the reflection of the party that he represents, then you see, it means that I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. It means then the political players that we have in this country are so divorced from reality. It also means that the political players that we have in this country, they are up to meandering.
We cannot have a reality of poverty, a reality of being poor.
It means that if Jacob, what he is saying, represents his political party,
yes,
it means that in the unlikely eventuality that his party is voted into power, then the informal sector would not see the light of day towards formalization. They will be viewed as a third, fourth fiddle citizens, because the level at which he demeans these people that he actually alludes that they paid for his school fees, they are the ones that are holding this economy against odds, against the variables.
Is this the aspiration of us as a nation, that
to make wire cars?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
To sell
the informal sector, like you say, to quote your words, is the stepping stone towards great things. Let's appreciate that our economy right now, it's not in the best state because of the same politicians. You see, the same politicians are the ones that are affecting business.
The ruling party politicians.
No, I don't speak for ruling party or for opposition. But when I see you in one group.
No, we are not one
a politician. I'm not a politician.
I'm different.
You are a politician.
Yes.
You are a spokesperson of a political party.
Yes, opposition.
So when I speak about politicians, I refer you in the same bracket.
Led by Tendai Biti.
Yes, by Tendai Biti.
Who was the best finance minister?
Who was part of the same government and the same party that called for sanctions in this country.
No sanctions.
So what is obtaining now is a result of the exactly a consequence of what they clamored for. So this is a situation.
Your corruption has brought the country down.
What's corruption? Is there corruption in business?
Yes, you guys have corrupted government ministers. You guys have.
We will come to
you have
Jacob.
Got tenders. You pay them millions of dollars.
Jacob, we will come to that point later on when we discuss the indigenization policies. We will come to that point. Hold your horses for now. Let's look at the birth of the MDC, the opposition party. since the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions threw its weight behind the formation of the MDCT political party, it was the MDC then before it became the MDCT.
We are going to form a coalition, so I'll speak on behalf of the opposition.
Okay.
So don't worry.
Did this affect ZANU-PF government's policies with regards to the workers? Was there a shift? Let's look at it historically, because we were saying maybe, because when we were growing up, we know that every May Day there would be one convergent point at Rufaro Stadium. The president would address the workers. But since the workers have aligned themselves with the opposition, I'm looking at the ZCTU.
Yes, I hear you.
Has this not affected the...
It is.
Yes.
Our myopic government, which is led by myopic ministers and people who do not see beyond their nose, created enemies out of the workers. They decided to deindustrialize Zimbabwe. So we are not coming from the informal sector to a formal sector. We are coming from a formal sector to an informal sector. We are the first country that has voluntarily deindustrialized itself.
Right. The question is what has led us to that scenario. It is the politics of the opposition party that clamored for intervention.
We want to thank the workers.
Business.
We want to thank, these are neo-communists, neo-socialists. They speak as if they have people at the center.
You are representing a neoliberal agenda.
They have people with
where you are propagating Western capital, where you want global capital to be dominant.
Liberty, I'll allow Jacob to finish. Jacob, wind up your point on this
When you see Liberty's skin right now, it is full of oil and is gleaming, and he has a stomach that is filling the chair. These are the people that have created.
Because I'm batting, my friend.
He is
you are absconding your cause of batting every morning and using Vaseline.
It is simply because water only gets to his place. We, the workers.
The program is Late Night Politics, and tonight we are looking at the workers' plight, and I'm joined in the studio by Jacob Mafume. He's a lawyer and is also a spokesperson for the Tendai Biti-led People's Democratic Party, as well as the chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda, ZYDA, as well as Affirmative Action Group Harare Chapter President Liberty Bizure. We're talking about the alignment of the workers' movement with certain political parties. Liberty. I know, Jacob, you rebut just after Liberty comes in. Liberty, are you comfortable if you are in business with your worker being affiliated with any certain political party? And does it affect your negotiations with that worker?
Is that democratic right? You cannot dictate to your worker their political affiliation. Certainly you can't do that in this day and age. What we, however, encourage is for our workers to be affiliated to political parties that have got visions that are, clear in regards their future. We encourage our workers to be affiliated. No. We don't. Our workers, we tell them they've got their democratic.
He's a crony
right?
capitalist.
No.
It's a crony capitalism. They believe in associating with ZANU-PF. They've got cars that have got pictures of politicians and wives of politicians.
You see what my friend has gotten into now. What my friend has gotten into now. It's unfortunate that he is a politician and he is getting into unnecessary banter. You see, whereas right now, let us be factual. Facts on the ground are we do not employ people on political affiliations. We employ people because of merit. We do not tell people what political parties to be affiliated to. We, however, if necessary or when asked, tell them and advise that they should be affiliated to political parties that have got a clear vision for their posterity. If MDC,
PDP,
what is yours?
People's Democratic Party,
PDP,
led by Tendai Biti,
yes,
best
if
finance
he is
minister in the country.
You see. This is a politician, my brother, on a
Liberty.
business forum.
Liberty.
So now his banter. No, let me finish. Let me just finish. So if our people come to us, we tell them to be affiliated. Certainly, if there is anything, if there is an iota, which I doubt, if there's an iota of vision in the PDP that he represents, we'll certainly tell our people. But we haven't seen that yet.
Okay, as the AAG, where does your political allegiance lie? Maybe that's where Jacob is coming from.
Yes, we know AAG.
Where does the AAG because I remember you invited Dr. Philip Chiangwa to make an address, and he said ZANU-PF is the way to go. Are you?
Let me tell you something. There are two things here. There's an organizational position, and there are individuals within an organization. We've got
What
their
is the
own
organizational
positions.
position?
Our organizational position
That you are
is
ZANU-PF.
no.
Okay.
Let me say it. Let me say it. Our organizational position is that we advance the cause of the majority through the government of the day. We advocate. You cannot see yourself moving an agenda outside the system. You have to be involved. You have to know who the Minister of Indigenization is. Get him close to you and move your agenda. We are not an opposition party. We need cooperation and coherence with the... If then you see Philip Chiangwa, who is the founder of AAG, as a central committee member in ZANU-PF, that is his personal position. We've got members in AAG from his party.
No.
We've got members from AAG. Do you know everyone? We've got members from AAG, from MDC, from ZANU-PF, and from everyone, because they are business people. What brings us together is the desire to advance our business interests. And we are not political. However, we move our agenda through the people that are in office. And right now, it's ZANU-PF that is in office. You cannot expect me to go to Harvest House or his office. Where are your offices? Where are the offices of PDP?
Yeah, with the
you
people.
have offices?
Yes, we are with the people.
With the people somewhere there. Okay, you are not yet quoted. Anyway,
No, if you are headquarters,
wherever you are,
people.
where there is no address, you
not
cannot
in
expect us. You cannot expect
in
us to
Borodom.
come. You cannot expect us to go and lobby through the opposition, which has shadow ministers, if there are any. But where there is a sitting minister, we go to Minister Joao and lobby. We go to Kasukwere and lobby about the employment. We go to Bima on commerce and industry. We go to Maistem Bizonyoni on SMEs. That is the norm. You coalesce and you agree with the government of the day.
Jacob, has this been not the albatross around your necks that maybe you have been too rigid in your approach to issues in terms of empowerment and so forth? I know we are going to talk about empowerment and indigenization, such that you might not affiliate with these bodies like AAG because you assume that it is a ZANU-PF affiliate.
No, some of these crony capitalist organizations, these are the enemies of the people. They are designed to siphon the riches of the country. They grow rich while the country grows poor. If you have business people who boast about being in business class airlines when their own country airline collapses, who boast in driving the best cars when there are no roads to drive those cars, who boast of being richer in a country where everyone is becoming poorer. You cannot be part and parcel of organizations that are simply meant to corrupt the national ethos. They are there to corrupt the government ministers. The workers, the people have not benefited. Yes, we know individuals have benefited. They've grown rich while we have grown poor. They've decided to live in houses in Cape Town. They've decided to have their children go to schools in Malaysia, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, whilst they do not invest a cent in the University of Zimbabwe, where I was educated. They don't invest a cent in the professional universities. We must work and condemn these organizations and show them for the thievery that they perpetuate on the people of Zimbabwe on a daily basis. We cannot have this as a nation where we pretend that parasites, organizations that kill the body that they drink blood from, they are like malaria mosquitoes, which destroy even the body that sustains their livelihood. They follow it into the grave. The AAG, the crony business people, they have taken industry, immediately collapse it. They go to the railways, immediately collapse it. We can't even kill cattle as a country. They collapsed the CSC.
Okay. Jacob, you're
They are
talking
thieves.
of the industry shrinking. Of course, you are more dramatic than I'm putting it across. But Liberty, come in here. Why have we seen industry shrinking? Because you are in business, you have the reasons why we are in this situation that we are in.
Our business worldwide, business is affected by the politics of the day. Like what I said earlier on, that as business, we are crying for these politicians, Jacob and et al., his others, to come together and give us a decisive, trajectory that guarantees a creation of jobs and growth and growth of business. So business is informed by our politics, and our politics right now is not well. There are elements in the opposition that have clamored for sanctions, and we are a result of sanctions. Certainly, I agree with Jacob on one point, that corruption is rampant in this country. Yes. As you would know, I'm the chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda. We were the first persons, the first organization to raise alarm over the Net1 scandal. You see, and that became a serious issue in this nation that led to the sacking of the then CEO. So you would see that we have got an agenda of also fighting corruption. However, corruption has got other variables that need to be involved as pillars to fight it. There's political willingness.
What about diamonds?
There is no. You don't talk to me about the political. You don't push me to respond as a politician, because I'm not a politician. I am affected by the lack of the revenue from diamonds, because I'm a business person.
Yeah, let's talk about the issue that you raised, that you raise a red flag, but some have criticized and say that you only raise a red flag because you don't have a share in that tender.
That is a fact.
In any case, after raising the red flag, we never went in to even put a tender. We just wanted to see that the right thing was done. Was done. And those that are in the business of that pertains Net1 are the ones that went ahead. I am not in the business of putting up those master or anything to do with Net1. You will not see my tender or my papers there. You see, because I haven't done that. If you tell me anything, if it's Sito Ferraro and any other parastatal or whatever, if a council that requires us to raise a red flag, we'll certainly do that from a very objective perspective. So my friend here is arguing and positing his opinions from a political standpoint, where he's grandstanding here to campaign for PDP, which does not have a headquarters. I asked you where it is, and you said it's with the people. Where in Budiriro?
In the hearts of the people. We are headquartered right in the hearts of the people.
We are discussing workers' issues.
We can't discuss. Yes, we are discussing workers' issues, George. But we are discussing workers' issues with a colleague here who is representing an institution that has got no known address where you can visit them. You see, I would love to come to your offices one day if you find space to rent somewhere.
That is a side bar. That is a side issue.
Now it's now Samura Masha.
Let's not go into the debate of where they are part of the democratic institutions that we talked about. They also help to push for certain policies to be made. But then Liberty, the shutdown of the industries. Whilst you are talking about that, solutions to the shutdown of industries. Solutions. Because we want workers to go back to work. Yes. Those who stay in the informal sector do so out of their own will, but those who want to work in factories, they should go back to the factories.
Solution lies back in getting back the basic economic fundamentals, which are informed by a clear political ideology in this country, where our politics should shift from the politics of retribution and exclusion to politics of inclusion, politics of getting each other's ideas. There are so many good things on a serious note that his party might get into the national basket of ideas, that MDCT can get into the national basket of ideas, that ZANU-PF. We need all those ideas for the sake of this economy. economy. Right now, the politicians are letting us down because they have bedeviled themselves in the clamorings of power. We need to go back to basic economic principles where our economy is informed by what we have and what we are doing to achieve what we aspire. Right now, the people, the economy and the business fraternity have been let down by politicians because they have negated their role of as opposition functionaries. Factions, you see, his own party is a result of a factional fight in the opposition. In ZANU-PF, we're having factions everywhere. There are factions. The politicians are letting this country down. From a very level-headed point of view, we need you politicians to put you, if it was possible, kukwisa imushipi tokwisa pakati pegungwa mese vezanu MDC TPDP modzoka mawirirana ikoko kana tamawirirana toziya kuti how are we going ahead with policy. Isusu, we won't stop advocating.
There are two issues that that I've picked from Liberty's point here. The fact is that the first one is that solutions, the opposition has a dearth of policy formulators. The second one is that polarization is so much that you cannot even say anything good about the ruling party or so forth, especially towards 2018 where we are going to have business will probably be worried as we go towards 2018.
No, we in the opposition are social democrats. We believe in having people at the center of our discourse. We believe that any policies that are inconsistent to social democrat ideals must be expunged from the body politic. We are pro-people. We believe in alleviation of the suffering of the worker. Today we are celebrating the worker. We are actually mourning the death of working in Zimbabwe. We are actually mourning the loss of jobs in Zimbabwe. We are actually commemorating the day when we used to hear the worker sing going to work. The worker fill the buses, the worker ride the bicycles, a healthy worker. We have the policies that will give hope to the people. We've got economic blueprints. When we were in government, during the time of the inclusive government, with the Tendai BTs, the Spepangomos and everybody else, we had economic growth. We had the highest economic growth in Africa. Salaries began to be paid on time. We had money flowing into the veins of Zimbabwe. Business was coming up. Youthful business persons like him started seeing the growth of their companies. They started employing people, not retrenching people. As soon as ZANU-PF won the elections, we had the Zua judgment. They liberalized the workforce. Thousands upon thousands of workers were fired in one stroke of a pen. The economy became shrinking. Jobs began to disappear. Business people like him started firing and retrenching people again after we left government. So as soon as we are back in government, we have got what we call thought leadership. We will lead the people of Zimbabwe into the promised land. We've got the best students that Africa has produced in economy and any other fields.
Jacob, recently, before you come in, because I want to also tie in this one, you are talking of a coalition and you are saying you can also speak because you are also going to be part of it. Or Mashakada, the economic shadow minister for MDCT, said that they will have a $100 billion economy in 100 days should they come into power. Do you agree with that?
It will
because as a coalition, these are some of the issues
our
that you are going to
economy will even be bigger, my friend.
That is nonsense, my guy.
No.
That is nonsense.
This country has got all the minerals. Let's
take the people of this country for a ride.
No.
It means, hold on just a bit. It means that...
Let me explain to you.
Okay, go ahead.
In 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, this economy, Zimbabwe as an economy, is one of the richest countries in Africa. It has got all the minerals on the periodic table. It has the most educated workforce. But it has one of the most
to come up with such figures, how would you have calculated? How do you work it out to say we will have a $100 billion
that is absurd.
In one
economy.
A day, how much will that
It's about
be?
$1 billion a day. Where do you attract $1 billion a day in 100 days? You want $100 billion.
These people stole 13 billion worth of diamonds within a space of less. The current government, they admitted themselves.
You are talking of the government.
There's an audit. Look, for example,
Jacob, there's an audit which
let me tell you one thing.
Let's not preempt the audit.
Let's not preempt. But we were told.
Let's not preempt an audit which is underway in terms of diamond revenue.
But you are bringing in a government that is not representative.
Let's address the issue. Let's address the issue. Let's address the issue of policy formulation.
Yes. People are trying to make this economy smaller than it is so that they can keep stealing lots of money. This economy is bigger. This economy has got potential. Let's explore the full potential of this economy and show the real size of the economy. That is why people were 15 billion from one mineral. We're not even talking about gold. We're not even talking about uranium. We're not even talking about coal. Let's be clear.
Liberty coming.
Yes, I'm not a politician, but common sense has it that manifestos are supposed to be informed by reality and aspirations.
So the reality that we are poor.
Wait, no. You cannot try to get power by lying to the people that will get 100 billion economy in 100 days. It means you are creating $1 billion a day. Where do you think you'll get that amount of money?
How much are the diamonds?
If that is going to be
much
true,
are the diamonds?
Yes, if there was $15 billion that was stolen in how many years? Listen, let me give you the chronicle of how these things work, my friend. We started mining, we mined for 6 years in this country. And what has accrued is the 15 billion that was said not to have been accounted
you
for.
Cannot
but
make
there
this economy smaller so that you can steal.
Listen to
this is a big economy.
Jacob, let's give each other a chance to
listen to facts. Yeah, don't get emotional.
Those are not facts.
The fact is we mined for 6 years in this country. And according to the president, 15 billion was not accounted for.
Yes.
And currently there is an ongoing audit to account for the 15 billion. One, it would not be fair, and you are a lawyer, for anyone to assume that 15 billion has been stolen without the findings of the audit.
Are you disputing the president?
No, I'm not disputing the president. But he said it's not accounted for. It's not accounted for. Yes, and there's an ongoing process. There's an ongoing process.
The president spoke. He's the first and last word.
He has also instituted an audit, and the mines ministry.
The audit.
So let's wait for the audit
results.
No, he spoke.
What is the
first and last word?
No, he said. No. Let's get.
Do you not believe the president?
Let's get his words in court.
Do you not believe the president?
I believe the president. He said $15 billion was not accounted for. He didn't say it was stolen.
That is stealing.
The audit is now going to give us how it was managed.
Now you don't believe the president. Mr. Liberty, tell us, do you not believe the president?
I believe the president.
So 15 billion was stolen.
No, he didn't say it was stolen. He said it was not accounted for.
Theft.
And the audit now is going ahead.
Gentlemen, let's get order. We are not moving. We are not moving.
He's also your president.
For our listeners,
the president
for our listeners, for our listeners, the program is
our president.
For
15 billion was stolen.
15 billion was unaccounted for.
That is
and the audit process is taking place. And audit process is taking place.
No, the president spoke.
No.
How many times do you want the president to speak?
Does StarFm have the exact interview where the president said,
gentlemen, we are getting derailed. The program is about workers. The program is about workers, and let's celebrate the Workers' Day. And tonight on Late Night Politics, we have in the studio as Jacob Mafume is a lawyer and also spokesperson for the Tendai Biti-led People's Democratic Party, and also joining us is chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda, ZYDA, and is also the Affirmative Action Group Harare Chapter President, Liberty Bizure. And the debate has been getting hot. But how do we build trust? How do we build trust between business, between the workers, between government?
Let's do the simple things, right? People
address the issue of polarization.
Yeah,
that we approach
Zimbabwe,
everything civilly.
Okay, yes. In Zimbabwe, let's put the people at the center of our ideologies. Let's agree with business. Business must stop corrupting the politician. Business have the money. They are the ones that influence policy from a monetary point of view. They are the ones that need to make a profit. They must realize that with a government with the people at the center, a social democratic government that is going to come out from the coalition of opposition parties, they must understand that with the people at the center, the people will restore trust. The workers must understand why tenders are being given to so and so. Money that goes to NASA must be explained and invested back to the workers. Taxes that we pay must go to the roads. If we pay Zinara, we must see the roads being repaired, not the Zinara executive buying aeroplanes or big cars. If we pay, let's put the money where it said it is supposed to go. The workers will then trust us. We must develop pro-business policies so that young and upcoming business like Liberty, who are going to be the capitalists of tomorrow, do not follow the mold of crony capitalists that are rapacious and against the people. We must mold them into principled business people that have got empathy, that feel for the people, that look at the person selling in the street and their children, and they want to help them and lift them to join the formal economy. We need to mold them into better persons than the path that they've been put now.
Liberty, he's talking about a social contract, a new social contract. As business, are you ready also to look at building relations between you and government, you and the workers? Some workers are saying, look, business is there to make money and they don't pay us, but we see them driving flashy cars.
We already have a relationship with government. What we don't have maybe is a relationship with opposition political parties. We've got relationship with our workers because for starters, they are within our premises and positions of work. However, I want to go back to issues that he raised. You see, assumption is the mother of all demise. He assumes that we are the ones that corrupt government ministers. I would want to ask a question, for purposes of clarity. Have we ever had in this country an issue that was raised by PDP or MDCT through the Anti-Corruption Commission, or that has got a non-docket of a person, a businessman who has corrupted the minister, for starters? Secondly, he assumes... Wait. Secondly, he says that tenders are given on partisan lines.
Yes.
Let him tell us where he submitted a tender. Yes, Jacob Mafume, where he submitted a tender and it was turned down. Let him tell us who else has submitted, because if tender process, we've got the SPB board.
Liberate your mind and see the things that are happening in this
reality. These people, they always talk about tender process being awarded to certain. So when they don't even go and respond,
so forth. What we have done, organizations like Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, they have followed up on institutions like the Human Rights Commissions. We have followed up on electoral issues. We've got cases. There's a celebrated judgment that came out, which was written by the current Chief Justice Malaba, on child marriages, which used the new laws on women.
We are talking about corruption.
The
ease of doing business in this country.
The ease of doing business in this country. On issues of tenders, we have a multiple of cases that we have done. Now,
where have you put in a tender, Jacob, and it was turned down because of political affiliation?
I don't need to put in a tender, right?
So why are you speaking? Why are you speaking as if you've got a tender that was turned down because you are PDP?
Jacob, I think the issue that Liberty is raising is that sometimes we smear certain individuals, and yet we don't have.
If I respond to a tender and I'm awarded because of merit, there's no corruption there. And you go around beating the bush that I have corrupted the minister.
The road from Mashingo, the governor of Mashingo, just yesterday reported in the newspaper newspapers said all the workers are going to come from ZANU-PF. Everyone that is going to get tenders on the road to Mashingo, which is worth $2 billion, is going to come from ZANU-PF. She said it on record. It's been reported in the papers.
My
we
friend,
know.
That is political.
We know.
That is political statement.
But now I'm giving you examples.
Let me give you
Why
an
should you
example.
say
I am not ZANU-PF. I am not ZANU-PF, but I got
Liberty wait. In such instances,
but I got
as the affirmative as an affirmative action group member, would you speak out against a minister who says that these jobs are only for ZANU-PF?
Yes, of course.
Have you spoken?
Jobs are supposed. Tenders are supposed to be given on nationalistic, pedestals, not on parties.
That is the name of your party.
If you are Zimbabwean, what we know about that road which is referring to is that 40% of the works there have been set aside as a quota for Zimbabweans. Tell me, Jacob, that you have submitted an application.
I am not a businessman.
No.
I'm a lawyer.
So if you are not a businessman, let me tell you, I am a businessman. I have submitted something and I've been awarded. I'm looking forward to be awarded something there because of merit.
Not
because
merit.
of merit.
My friend, you're a ZANU-PF.
I've got merit.
My point, Liberty, was that would you condemn the Mashingo provincial minister who says that the jobs are for ZANU-PF only?
Yes.
It's not condemn. We don't condemn. We would want here to correct your statement to say tenders are awarded and jobs are awarded from a Zimbabwean perspective, never on a partisan. This is the same thing that I'm saying, that politicians have adulterated business in this country. These politicians, which Mahofa and yourself, you are all politicians. I'm a business person. All of you have adulterated the efficacy of doing business in this country.
Like AAG.
Let's move on because this is now leading us to another point. This is now leading us to another important point. The issue of indigenization. Liberty, has this been a success? Because the opposition will jump up and say, no, this has been the reason why we are not attracting foreign direct investment. From your point of view.
You want it blunt or you want it with a narrative?
Take it both ways.
You can sugarcoat it.
The indigenization policy hasn't been a success. No, it hasn't been a success. It hasn't been a success because of a myriad of reasons that has affected. Doesn't approach issues objectively. I am an objective person. No. Agreeing with you doesn't mean that
Mr. Mafume has liberated one person in this studio, and it's liberty.
Mafume, I want to make you a businessman and pursue business interest over politics. Let our economics and our business interests determine the politics of the day, not vice versa what you are doing. This is resulting in serious policy inconsistency, meandering on the indigenization law, labor law.
Tell us about failure of
now, the indigenization policy yes, failed.
Yes.
It has not come out to the standards that which we expected. Indigenization has failed because of different reasons, chief of which was the policy inconsistency of government. At the level of the opposition party, as members of the Legislative Council. Listen, as members of the Legislative Council, they've got a role which we do not have as business people. They've got a role of bringing government to accountability and to review laws that attract FDI, that make the ease of doing business, the ease of doing business in this country be there. So the government and the opposition party, from their different positions in the bureaucratic system, they have all let business down towards the implementation of the indigenization law. The adoption, implementation of this law has been marred with controversies. And as business, from our standpoint, we are saying let there be a review of this law to attract FDI, to ease to make sure that there is ease of doing business in this country. Because certainly we haven't witnessed successes as we would have wanted with the indigenization law. By all intents and purposes, the crafting of the law and its adoption were good and were brilliant for this country. However, the implementation side has been mad with politicking and has been mad with serious grandstanding, which these politicians from MDC, ZANU-PF, PDP have thrown spanners into. And we are saying, let's review this law with a view of getting it working again. And these are the people, these politicians, him and his colleagues in ZANU-PF and the opposition are the ones that have let this nation down.
Jacob, if you get into power in 2018...
When we get into power. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Without a head office. My friend, dreams are allowed,
would
George.
would you repeal the indigenization laws?
Yes. Look.
So you don't want black people to be empowered?
No, indigenization is not the same as black.
Are you agreeing?
Let
Are
me
you
tell
agreeing
you-
that you are going to repeal? Are you going to repeal or are you going to
we are agreeing
revise?
with you. Like, look, Liberty here. For the first time, he spoke a very liberated point of view, where he said that this indigenization law, as currently constituted, has been an unmitigated disaster. The reason why the government had to shut up the Minister of Indigenization is that he caused the flight of capital from this country by knee-jerk announcements, pronouncements, and the pursuit of illogical laws. And they ended up as a cabinet having to shut him up to say, my friend, you are destroying this economy.
Where does he get his stuff? Cabinet, were you in cabinet and here he was shut out?
He apologized.
Let's look at, but you would repeal the
Are you a member of cabinet?
and then what would you do?
No. Then Zimbabwe should not vote for such people. Who repeal?
I
would have rather had this guy tell the nation that he would revise and make it more palatable to 2018 or beyond.
Let me make it very
Repeal,
clear to people.
my grand.
They must not be afraid of English words. Repeal doesn't sound as dangerous as liberty.
No. Repeal, get us the dictionary. Repeal means you take it out.
Need to protect sectors like shops, transport, and so forth and so forth. We will set a higher threshold of indigenization. There are areas where we need beneficiation, where we need skills transfer from other countries. Then we will lower the percentage threshold. We've got if people look at our policies and our manifesto that we produce as a combined opposition, they will see the progressive indigenization law that we will have, so that we can have more successes like Econet, more successes like Dairy Board, more successes like probably Telecel, and many other companies that have succeeded. We will look at the banking sector, because most of the indigenized banks collapsed under the weight of rampant looting. I mean, it was as if a looting committee has been set up in the banking sector and people were unleashed to loot money. We will look at the financial sector and come up with a better way of preventing the unmitigated disasters that we saw there.
The program is Late Night Politics, and tonight we are discussing Workers' Day, May Day, Labor Day, you name it the way you want to. And in the studio, I'm joined by Jacob Mafume, who is a lawyer, also a spokesperson for the Tendai Biti-led People's Democratic Party, as well as Liberty Bizure. He is the chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda, ZYDA, as well as Affirmative Action Group Harare chapter president. Because our time is running out, let's look at the other issue, the wage structure. Some are saying that, because of our 5 minutes which are left, some are saying that the wage structure is stifling productivity. Some are saying we should not have a fixed wage system. It has to be revised. For instance, link wages to productivity, as it is the only way to sustain higher wages. And others are saying let's exempt small enterprises from paying minimum wages, for example. Let's debate this in light of a survey which was carried out by the Labour and Economic Development Research Institute of Zimbabwe, LEDRIS, which indicated that at least 100,000 workers across the country worked without pay between 2015 and 2016. Liberty, approaching it from business, because our time is running out, just in brief, how do we address the issue of wages?
Okay. I just want to put a roundup on the issue of indigenization in one statement in 10 seconds. I think, before I respond to that, I think it is important for the incumbent government to compromise and find ways to to reconcile indigenization to indigenization with investment promotion.
Thank you.
So I think there's need to revise, not to repeal, like what he said, to revise the law to make sure that it attracts the much needed foreign currency and remove words like seed. You can't have a scenario where a business, an investor is coming and you are asked to cede 51%. We would rather have a scenario where we say sell, because sell, it means there's an exchange of money for shares. So this is from our reasoning as business. However, the issue that you have raised just now on wages, we are of the conviction that wages, they should be premised on productivity. You remember, George, the last time I came into this studio, that was the argument that unemployment. So we would rather have a scenario where our wages are benchmarked on productivity, not anything else.
Jacob?
Yes, the wages that should be dealt with are the wages of the fat cats. 34,000 for a town clerk. Parastatal
in an MDC run council.
Parastatal
34,000 for a town clerk in an MDC run council.
They were
with the majority
by Chombo.
Approved by Chombo, but submitted by who?
Wait,
by the full council.
Liberty, let Jacob wind up. Our time is running out.
Our time is running out. Let's see. The fat cats, they've got 5 cars that they get from the business. They get fuel. They get everything. The poor worker only earns $300, which he can't take from the bank anyway. So we need to reduce our top executives' salaries. So
Are you talking of business owners or you're talking of people in government?
Even business owners.
But how do you expect me to be like you when I'm the owner of the business?
Oh, look at the thinking.
How do you expect me? How do you expect me?
He thinks the business is about just becoming fat and eating.
No, I'm not saying you are a worker. I'm giving a scenario. If you are my employee, and your contribution equals $500 per month,
let me wind
then
up.
How do you want me to leave the $500?
But let him wind up as a response to that and your final message to the workers in 1 minute.
The workers, let's persevere. Hope is coming. The coalition government is going to come in 2018. Just wait a little bit. The Bible says that it is darkest before it is light. And I will tell you that this might look like the darkest hour, but the Zimbabwe light is going to shine brighter in 2018 than ever before. And you, at the beginning of this program, you spoke about Thokozani Kupe. Thokozani Kupe, when she was speaking, I think people are getting what she said out of context. And I think she's an honorable woman. She has battled through cancer. She's one of the few women in Zimbabwean politics that have come to the top ranks of politics.
Talk about wanting money in politics.
And she has actually lost money in politics as a trade unionist and as an opposition leader. And to suggest that she is as corrupt as the people...
No, Jacob, let's not get derailed there. She said we are getting to politics to make money.
No.
We will discuss that in another program.
But what I'm saying is that let us not take statements by senior opposition leaders out of context.
No, I think we have the clip.
Yes, but there is a context. And I think that I will stand and say that from what I know, there is a perfect explanation.
Certainly,
and she is an honorable.
Okay, we'll discuss that one, and we will bring it.
What she meant.
Let's not malign her.
Yes, but I think it is important that you as politicians, especially when you are formulating policy, you are very clear. If it's English and we hear you saying I'm in politics to make money, that is what we hear.
There are no semantics about that.
Yes, to wind up.
To wind up, I would say to the workers today, yes, certainly there is hope. But I would encourage them to be affiliated to political parties like that have got a vision, PDP, that have got a clear trajectory, political parties that have certainty in regards their future and posterity. I wouldn't know about PDP because they have failed to give us an address of their headquarters. They have failed to tell us where they are residing at, where you can visit them. One time it's Budiro, one time it's Samora Masho. So if they cannot put a structure in their organization, how can they put a structure in this country? Certainly look for another political party.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen.
ZANU-PF, which we know is by rotten rule.
Thank you, gentlemen. This has been a very engaging debate. We were discussing workers' issues, Workers' Day, Labor Day, May Day, whatever you may call it. And we were looking at the plight of the workers. And in the studio to help us with the discussion, I had Jacob Mafume. He's a lawyer. He's also the spokesperson for the Tendai Biti-led People's Democratic Party. He never made us forget that it belongs to the PDP throughout the night. And we also had chairman of the Zimbabwe Youth for Development Agenda, ZYDA. Is also the Affirmative Action Group, Harare Chapter President, Liberty Bizure. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming through to the program. And we hope you have a good night.